Blame of Thrones is a mini-series that recaps each season of Game of Thrones, where we attempt to place the blame of the season's largest calamities on one deserving character. This episode, we want to find out who's to blame for Ned Stark's beheading. Let's review.
Alright, boom. Game of Thrones started when the Hand of the King died, and then King Robert went to Winterfell. He went to go find Ned Stark. He was gonna make Ned Stark the new Hand of the King.
So King Robert gets to Winterfell, and the two of them, I think that they were doing a little bit of theater for for the people of Winterfell, because Ned knew that they were still cool, and King Robert knew that they were still cool, and probably Ned's wife knew they were Caitlyn. I think she probably knew they were still cool. Everybody else was like, are these guys still cool or not? They were cool. And you could tell because the king kind of comes up and calls him fat.
You got fat.
That's what I do with every single one of my friends. I never let them, if they've gotten a little bit uglier, a little bit older, a bit fat, a little bit bald, any bad thing, that's the first thing I let them know.
So Bran, after many times of his mother warning him to stop climbing, we catch him climbing a wall again. He's on this tower, he hears like these crazy noises, and he looks in and he sees Jaime Lannister humping on something. And then we look again and it's Cersei Lannister. And she's like, oh, he caught us, do something, he caught us. And Jaime was like, oh, hey, how old are you? You know, what do you like to do? What's like, asking him all these like weird questions. And then he's like, oh, boop, push you out the window.
Anyway, Sansa's falling for this Joffrey guy. They go for a walk. Arya's out being a boy with the butcher's son. That's what happens. Joffrey, trying to prove that he's somebody, runs down on the butcher's boy. Arya not going for it. Arya runs down like, yo, you gonna leave my boyfriend alone. Joffrey tried to turn around, do something to Arya. Son, these direwolves don't play. The direwolf came out of nowhere, chewed Joffrey's arm off, and basically just ruined everything. Because after that, Joffrey felt like a little punk. Joffrey honestly, at that point, got to see who he really was. And everybody else saw it too. So, in all of this, Ned is starting to realize that he made a bad decision by bringing his kids out here with him. So he's basically like, yo, y'all gotta leave. We're gonna send you back up to the castle, to our castle where y'all are safe. Sansa's not trying to leave. She's finally seen this little boy that she likes, and she's basically like, yo, I'm not going nowhere. I want to get married to him. I want to give him little babies with long blonde hair. And Arya is basically like, yo, that dude is not like even king worthy. Like, he's nothing like his dad. At that point, Ned kind of realizes like, wait a minute, Arya has a point. Joffrey really ain't nothing like King Baratheon. Like, he don't look like him, he don't act like him, he don't have the same color hair, nothing. Ned goes and starts looking at the king's lineage from back in the history. And all of them kind of like, one was related. All of them had black dark hair. This person with black hair, that person with black hair, next person with black hair. And then they come down to Joffrey, and he has gold hair. And it's like, it was like a light bulb just went off.
See, this is where it gets confusing. Turns out that the queen messing with her twin brother, and the kids that's supposed to be the king's kids ain't the king's kids because they're the twin brother's kids. See where I'm going with this? It's crazy.
When Ned confronts Cersei about her bastard children, this is a very important moment, I think, within the season, because someone is confronting Cersei, number one, which is always like a scary moment, but someone is confronting her on her shady, like, inner dark secrets that she doesn't want to come out, which is a little bit scary because we know that she's not someone you really want to fuck with, but we don't know how far she's gonna go. So I'm kind of scared for Ned at this point, and like anyone in his crew or anyone in his family, because we don't know what she's gonna do.
Women are really devious because you could see in Cersei's eyes. First, I thought it was fear. When Ned was telling her that he was gonna get her arrested and she had to run and Robert's wrath and such and such and such, I thought she was scared. the more I learned about Cersei, she was looking at him like, you're not gonna make it through the night. How about that?
Oh man, Ned, think a little bit, man. You're not an idiot. Here's what you do. Instead of going up to Cersei and laying your cards on the table, you bring her in. You bring her in, hey, I've got a surprise for you. Then what happens? Boom. Everybody finds out in front of the Maury Povich. I know Maury Povich wasn't there, but there must have been a Maury Povich type entertainer at some point during the Game of Thrones. This is the correct venue for outing this incestuous relationship.
King Robert gets attacked by a boar while he was out hunting. I don't know why he was outside running around rolling in the dirt with pigs. That's his business. So he get hurt up, and he knows that it's over for him. He knows he's about to die. He even said they got to cook the pig at the funeral, and everything gonna be good. He has a private conversation with Ned Stark, and he tells him, listen, this is what we're gonna do. You gonna run the kingdom until Joffrey is of age.
King Robert gets gored by the boar. I don't know. I think he should have seen it coming. I feel like he was happy to die that way. If I was gonna go and I was a big fat piece of shit king, I guess that'd be an okay way. Better than like he would have gotten like his dick would have fallen off a syphilis at some point. Something bad would have happened. At least he got to go out having fun. Getting stabbed in the guts by a big pig.
Ned, who's really honorable, writes on this letter, this pardon that he's writing, he's saying the rightful heir, which obviously is not Joffrey. He asked Littlefinger for help to get the gold cloaks behind him so that he can arrest Cersei and he can arrest Joffrey. And I'm like, why would he want to do this? Littlefinger also asked him, he says, you should just give it to Joffrey. That would be your best bet. And Ned is like, I'm honorable, like I'm not doing this. And everyone's like, Ned, you're a hot mess. Like, play the game, right?
Because Cersei knows that Ned is trying to play her. So they make sure to go get Ned and make him swear loyalty to the king, the new King Joffrey. Ned swears that he got Littlefinger on his side. He's got this whole, the gold cloaks. These are supposed to be like the honorable king's guard. The honorable king's guard, right? They all walk in together. Ned is like, yo, you're on my throne. Joffrey sitting there looking at him like, listen, you either gonna bow down or you're not. What you gonna do? Joffrey basically like, yo, listen here, homie. I don't care about nothing what you talking about. Are you gonna bow down or not? Ned is like, I ain't gonna bow down. Matter of fact, you and your moms is under arrest, right? He says, gold cloaks, get him. Gold cloaks like, he turned around like, what? Gold cloak stabbing all this man in the back. Littlefinger got a knife to his throat. He's like, yo, didn't I tell you I was trying to marry your wife? Why the hell would you trust me? Ned's sitting there, he don't know what's going on. He's like, what's going on? Ned, you played yourself. You should have never left Winterfell.
After that, Joffrey feels that Ned has to stand on trial or at least apologize in front of everybody about being a traitor to the crown. Sansa goes to him like, listen, we about to get married. I think we need to have this family discussion now. She tells him, listen, have mercy on my father. He's just trying to be a good dude and try to do everything he's supposed to do. Joffrey says, okay, cool. If he come in, apologize to everybody and say what he's supposed to say, I'll let him rock.
Ned, being honorable, he thinks about it and he's like, I don't know. But he does what anyone would have done, and he basically confesses. He said that he lied about Joffrey not being the rightful heir when he was actually telling the truth.
Joffrey looking at him like, yo, you know what? I don't really care. Honestly, I'm gonna cut your head off anyway. Sansa's like, oh my God, no! They take Ned outside. Arya's sitting in the crowd watching. She don't know what's going on. Sansa's up there. She's basically the princess standing there watching her father's head about to get cut off. I'm sitting in my living room like, no way they're gonna cut his head off. Somebody gonna come shoot an arrow or something. They're gonna drag him. He's gonna run off because the show is about Ned.
Ned's beheading was very emotional and serious and kind of amazing.
But, Joffrey, that would not fly in 2017, and I'll tell you why. Not because you killed him, we kill people. That's okay. Like, that's what they do. It's a lot of killing, still happens. But what was not okay was this little sneaky jab at women. My mommy told me this, and my betrothed told me this, but they're weak because they're women. if you said that now, like, first off, your agent, he would be gone. Your friends would be like not into it. There would be hashtag wars going on. Not my king. Not my king. Joffrey is not my king. I do not appreciate what he said about women. And then almost immediately, there would be people supporting you saying, well, you know, maybe a woman queen wouldn't have wanted him to get his head cut off. So, but it is the right thing to do. We need kings to make difficult decisions for us. So, my point is this. In any case, it would have been crazy. But I guess that's what we have now. You know what? I think Joffrey would probably be president at this point, and maybe a better one. But still a little bit of a unneeded jab. Just kill him. You don't need to be a dick about it.
In the case of Ned Stark from Winterfell, the person who I blame for his untimely demise is Ned Stark. Honestly, if he just would have did his job, mind his business, and take care of his family, he'd still be here. But no, he wanted to go investigate and find out who the baby father was. And sometimes things are just better left unsaid and unknown. Like, just leave it alone.
The person who is to blame for Ned Stark's beheading is Joffrey, of course, because he made that choice to behead Ned Stark, even though everyone was telling him not to. But there's so many other things that come into play for Ned being in that position at all. So we can go back to, you can say that Ned should have never even taken the job of being Hand to the King, but then it's like, how can you not take the job? Like, this is Game of Thrones. Like, you can't just say no. Like, you can't just be like, no, bitch, I don't want to go.
Who's to blame for Ned Stark's beheading? Outside of Joffrey, which is the obvious choice,
This little incest baby.
I would 100% say Cersei. Cersei did not have Joffrey on that leash that she should have had him on. She don't have her kid in check. And he's out here like, oh, my mother's weak. If I would have said my mother's weak, she would have knocked me out in front of the whole crowd.
So, who do we blame for Ned Stark's untimely demise? It's a good question. And I think it's something we all need to think about. I mean, ultimately, in a big way, it's you can blame it on nobody. The whole world's crazy. You got the fight in between the North and the South. You got the problem with Baratheon and with Cersei. There's all these problems. It's an entire systemic issue that gets him killed. However, it was Bran's fault. It was Bran's fault. Bran, you shouldn't have gone where you weren't supposed to go. If you hadn't done that, none of this would have happened. You wouldn't have been pushed out the wall. Your sister would have married the prince. They would have been happy. Something terrible would have happened later on, but your dad wouldn't have gotten killed at that point. He would have gotten killed a little bit later.
In my opinion, the blame of Thrones goes on all of Ned Stark's children. If Bran didn't climb that tree, he wouldn't have seen the Lannisters having sex. It might have been incest or whatever, but that ain't none of your business, homeboy. If Arya wasn't out there trying to be a little boy in the middle of the forest, just be a little girl, do what your father asked you to do. Home girl, go put on a dress, learn how to do the little thing with the knitting or something. Why do you always need a sword or an arrow? Like, what is your problem? Sansa really just has no loyalty to her family. She really was selfish and arrogant, and she lied about like her own sister. Like, dude, try to kill your own sister, and you really ain't care because all you was worried about was having baby. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you, your sister, and your little brother got your father's head cut off.